now for him after we've heard Robert there talking, pardon me, about the situation in Scotland. What of Wales? Matthew MacKinnon is a Welsh political consultant and, intriguingly, former Welsh Conservative press officer. Great to see you and a very warm welcome to you. Can I put something to you that wasn't on the questions that I'd written to put to you, and that's something that my friend Robert's just raised, that there was an attempt, or there has been an attempt from Number 10 to try and bring the devolved nations, Wales and Scotland, and I presume Northern Ireland as well, together for a round table at Downing Street, and the only problem was diaries. Have you heard that from the Welsh end of it as well?
I have heard that's definitely something that's in the pipeline for them. One of the main promises that Liz Truss made during the leadership contest when she came to Cardiff was that she really wanted to ensure that the union unit especially was bolstered and improved. Because I've spoken to people in Wales, whether they're Welsh Parliament members, senior officials, and they don't feel the union unit has been as proactive and as influential as it could have been. And I think a round table with specialists from across Wales, not just representatives from the Senedd and the Scottish parliaments, but actual specialists on devolution and people who are influential within the political spectrum, will be very helpful to help the Westminster administration understand the complexities of devolved policy.
And I mentioned in my introduction to you, Matt, that you're involved formerly in the press operation for the Conservative Party in Wales. And like Scotland, the relationship between the Conservative Party UK-wide and both Scotland and Wales is very much a roller coaster. People look at a snapshot and think, oh, the Tories are nowhere in Scotland at the moment, they're nowhere in Wales. They have been very good in both of those nations in the past. Do you think that when she's got time to focus upon it, Truss can and should put more effort into not only restoring trust in the union, because that's what she believes in, but specifically in the detail of both Wales, where you live and work, and Scotland, where Robert lives and works?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the 2019 and 2021 Senedd elections, the Conservatives had their best ever results. So there was 16 members elected for the Welsh Conservatives in 2021, their best result since devolution in its current form took place. And in 2019, the Conservatives won a significant number of MPs in Wales, the most since the 1980s. So there is a significant proportion of the Welsh population who are willing to vote Conservative in the right when the time is right. So I think that, you know, ensuring that enough detail is enough time is spent focusing on places such as Wales and Scotland to ensure the union's future is vital. And for the last 20 years, we've seen nationalism and separatism rise at a level in which many in Westminster aren't really comprehending. And there's been a lot of focus on Scotland, but there really hasn't been the level of focus there should have been on places such as Wales. Nationalism in Wales, due to devolution and the fact that nationalists now are in coalition in Cardiff Bay with Plaid Cymru and Labour in a coalition, there's a significant amount of public sector money being awarded to these sort of nationalist organisations, and they're using it to their advantage. And I think as soon as Number 10 and the new operation can realise that if they pay a little bit of attention to Wales, they can hopefully try and make a big difference in stamping out a bit of nationalism here in Wales before it rises to the levels we currently see in Scotland.
How do you, as a professional communications guy, as well as somebody who eats and drinks politics, how would you advise the Prime Minister to nuance, as it were, that fact that the Conservative Party, both in Wales and in Scotland, have got to tear heck out of Mark Drakeford, who we saw pictures of while you were talking there, and Nicola Sturgeon, who Robert was talking about. You want the parties in the nations to be doing that, whilst you, as the United Kingdom Prime Minister, have to rise above that. Quite a tricky thing to nuance politically.
Very, very difficult for her to try and achieve. I think Prime Minister's questions are prime opportunity when Labour and Keir Starmer point out failures in the English NHS, for example. You know, they can point out that in Wales, there's the one place in the country that is run by Labour still, that there's, you know, the situation is far, far worse. Same goes for education, same goes for so many other areas of policy which are run by the socialists here in Wales. And I think the fact that the Prime Minister needs to be much more confident in pointing that out. I think a far more aggressive approach in terms of communication strategy would be vital. I think a lot of people have tried to cozy up really to the establishment in Cardiff Bay because at the moment Wales is a one-party state. You know, you've had Wales run by Labour now since the late 1990s, and nothing's changed. So a lot of people are trying to cozy up in an attempt to sort of curry favour, but I think a much more pragmatic approach in actually trying to expose them would be a better option.
There's far too much grown-up talk on this programme today. Everybody talking good common sense, and I'm sure that our viewers and listeners will lap it up. Matthew MacKinnon, first time we've spoken, a real pleasure, and I hope you'll keep in touch with us and that we can chew the Welsh fat again. That's Matthew MacKinnon there, Welsh political consultant.